three, fight!
Shall we? Battle Arena Toshinden is one of those games that everyone had in their collection for their PS1 or Sega Saturn at some point, and like so, it was the first 3D fighter on the newly born PlayStation, and that was meant to rival one of Sega's biggest 3D fighters, Virtua Fighter, and its console, the Sega Saturn. Battle Arena Toshinden is a 3D fighter developed by Tamsoft in 1995 and developed by Takara, and is on platforms such as PlayStation, the PlayStation Network, Sega Saturn, MS-DOS, Game Boy, and the Tiger Electronic R-Zone, if you actually care about that. Also, a little fun fact, the MS-DOS version, Earthworm Jim, is a playable character. However, we will not be playing that version, but rather the PlayStation version. With that being said, let's hop on and see if it's good, shall we? Battle Arena Toshinden is like an early Soul Calibur, but it's not really that intricate like Soul Calibur, and rather clunky if I had to be honest, though I do appreciate the effort that went into this game despite the complaints I do have about the game. But before I go into the complaints, I want to say the first bits about the game. The game is on a ring, usually a square or a circular ring. You can win by timeout, knockout or ring outs. You have 8 characters, each with their respective weapons and lore. Also with unlockable characters, despite that the PlayStation has one more unlockable character than the other ports. If I had to be completely honest, my favourite characters in this game is either AG or Ellis. For the controls in this game, you have 4 attacks, 2 for kicks and 2 for your weapon attack. The 4 shoulder buttons help move around the ring or arena like a forward roll. One thing I do want to mention is this game's soundtrack. It is rather decent for mid-90s standards, but other than that, it does not live in my head. And saying that it sounds good, if not forgettable. Which is a shame because there are some absolute bangers on here. First off, the graphics haven't really aged well, and this isn't the Saturn killer game that it had claimed to be, and personally this is why Virtua Fighter 2 is a better game. But give that it is the first 3D fighter on the PlayStation, the graphics, the models and how it plays can be easily forgiven. The second thing I want to complain about is the camera. My god, that fucking camera is actually distracting. It is really unnecessary. It's so random that given that it's a 3D fighter, but it makes no sense. Like, why am I seeing the back of my fighter? It can throw me off, or the point of the view of the fighter, which hinders performing moves or blocking. And another thing I want to add that irks me about this game, like most early 3D fighters, is the jump. I don't know why, but that fucking jump is way too floaty and really isn't amazing at all, which doesn't kind of set a good precedence for the game itself. Now, time for is the game bad? And honestly, I'm going to say yes, but considering that this was the first game of the series, and it definitely shows. I mean, I will give it credit because it was ambitious for its time, but by 1994 standards, there were better 3D fighters out there like Virtua Fighter 2 for the Sega Saturn, and at the time being 1995, which was released, Tekken 2 just came out and totally wiped that market. Even then, I will have to say this, that Battle Arena Toshinden will be remembered as a game that walked for PlayStation so other 3D fighters for that platform could run. So I'm not going to hate on it because it's actually not that great of a game, but I'm not going to hate on it because at the end of the day I've played worse on that platform. And I think if you've watched any of my videos, you know what games I'm referring to. So speaking of the game, it's pretty cheap. Even the PAL version, the Japanese version or the US version. If this game interests you, which I'm going to assume it doesn't, I would say buy it just for a keepsake alone. Anyway, I've been Saku. Remember to like, comment and subscribe if you so choose to. And that is Battle Arena Toshinden 1. Stay tuned because next up on the list, Battle Arena Toshinden 2. We're gonna have fun.